All right, here we go. One shot, one take Laura. That's what they call her. Hello, everyone. Oh, fuck
Sorry.
that. That didn't happen. Hello, everyone. Laura here with Joyful Miles, a channel that's all about inspiring others to enjoy life 1 mile at a time. We don't have Megan because she is traveling for business. But for now, we have Robert. Hi, Rob.
Hello.
And we have Jackey. Hey, Jackey.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
Awesome. Let's start off with some comments. We had a couple on our last video. The first comment is from Bree Dunn. She had a similar experience as you did, Jackey, for the Tinkerbell half marathon. I'm doing so good. She did not put in her proof
One
of
take.
time. I blew that. She did not put in her proof of time, so she was in the last corral, although, Jackey, your reason was a little different because you did not think you were going to run that race, and you thought you were going to defer, which is another topic we have to add to the list tonight. Anyway, Bree says that she begs to differ. She had a blast in the last corral, and she says if you enjoy it and focus on the positive, it's all for fun, which I totally agree with. I mean, no matter what we said about the
Absolutely.
prices and races not selling out, we're still going to do runDisney races. I mean, my biggest reason is you guys, and it's fun, and as long as I'm still getting something out of the race, then I'm going to pay my money. And that's the bottom line. Our next comment is from Rob Z. I don't want to butcher your last name, so I'm going to call you Rob Z and make it cool. Anyway, oh, and by the way, Rob agreed with your opinion about Guardian of the Galaxy being a good move for Tower of Terror.
Man,
So,
it's taste.
in other words, he was wrong.
And a really good
Um,
name.
Anyway, he left an interesting thought. He said, you think this far along, they would have it all streamlined, but I think for as much as people spend to go to these events, they could provide some discounts or better deals for participants. Which is one thing we didn't mention is, remember back in the day you could get discounted park tickets through runDisney, and
So
Yeah.
they don't offer that anymore. So there really are no deals. There's no discounts. There's no hotel discounts or anything. So
I
so
wonder,
Real,
yeah.
sorry,
we didn't
I wonder
cover
if
with
they'll go
the
back to
wine and
that.
dine.
Sorry.
With the wine and dine, I know they used to historically give you a $15 gift card to use at the party. Is that still a
Right.
thing?
You
Do
know,
they still do that with the changes?
I don't even know. We kind of
I feel
registered
like
You
it
just
was a
signed
blind.
up
different.
for it and have no idea what you're doing.
Right, pretty much, pretty much. I don't recall it being there, but
I don't either, and it seemed like it was a different sponsor I never heard of, and I don't recall what it was, but it was like a name. You know how usually what's the one for the marathon?
what is Cigna is for the Disneyland
Cigna?
half is coming up.
Yes, for but then for the wine and dine, it was something I've never heard of.
Mm.
So I wonder if that had to play with that. And I also wonder if maybe they'll bring that back, the discounted park tickets, because these races aren't selling out anymore.
Hmm.
What do
I
you
don't
think?
see that coming back, but it would be
There was an email.
nice.
Did you guys see the email today about the Disneyland half? They're like extending the registration date.
Because it's
No.
still open. They haven't filled it.
I know, but I think
I mean, that's
initially it
crazy.
was like you had to be registered by a certain date, and now they've pushed it back.
Wow,
But
no,
that's
I
how it
didn't see
used to
that.
be. You could register like up until like the week before or whatever, is what I heard. And back in the day. But and that's kind of where we're back to. Not to
Maybe
rehash
we'll
what we
go
talked
back to
about last
discounted
time.
park tickets.
What's that?
Then maybe we'll go back to discounted park tickets.
It's
I
hard to say
wouldn't
because
hold your breath.
I
I
know.
wouldn't think so. I mean, they don't even really give you a discounted room rate anymore either. It's
But anyway, thank you very much, Bree and Rob, for your comments. And also, we have some
thank
new
you, Rob.
Yes, we have. Oh, you're just saying that because he agreed with you for the Galaxy, but it's okay.
He's
We
got a
also
cool name,
have
Rob Z.
we have some new subscribers too. Hello, thank you, and welcome. So if you're viewing this and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe because we would love to get 100. So
And we
please.
swear it's not us under other accounts. These are legit people, right?
I paid them $5 so they each, so they better be legit.
All of our friends
Okay.
and family are finally joining.
I know it's not mine. So getting back to Bree's comment about the Tinkerbell Half Marathon and not having a perfect time, to Jackie's reason for being placed in the last corral is that she planned on deferring, but on the day that she went to do it, it sold out. And how quickly did the spots fill up, Jackey?
I didn't think, I never knew, I've never deferred, so I was thinking, I saw the email, I was just at work, I don't know, I was busy, and I'm like, okay, I'll get to it maybe an hour or two later, I go to do it, and it was filled up.
Right.
Never expected that. And the thing with the Disney runs is you register so early, I mean, 9 months out? Like, life happens and things happen, and I registered for Tink, and literally like 2 weeks later, I get a save the date for my cousin's wedding, which was Friday night, and the half marathon was Sunday.
Right.
But so I'm like, I'll defer. But
And
then it was
that
sold
didn't
out.
happen. So you came and you had a fantastic time. So everything
I
worked
did.
out.
Everything
But
worked out.
now, right now, there's runDisney has a new no deferment policy.
Are you serious? I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah, Rob.
They
did you
just
know?
changed it.
Yes. Surprise.
It's like even worse. Like you can break a bone and you can't defer.
Medical
Well, bad
reasons
enough.
or
You would
not?
never expect, like you said, something like a deferral to sell out, right? Because I can't make it this year, and the thing with the deferrals was you had to spend what, $40 on top of what
45,
you've already
I'm
spent
thinking.
for the option to defer.
Right, and
So
they
this
held
was a way
on
for
to
them to
your
get
money.
money.
So if you
Yeah.
paid $330 for whatever the Pixie Dust Challenge was, they held on to that money, collecting interest. Then next year, when it comes time to registrations, you would pay them again for their deferral, and then you would
Right.
get your refund back. But now that's not even an option. They close it off for wine and dine, and this is the part that annoys me the most. Like, it's their business; they can make whatever rules, but it should not be counted for wine and dine after people had already registered. If that's the way you're going to make the rule, then you need to make it to where people then can choose:
Right.
am I going to register or not? So that's the biggest beef I have with this new policy is they should
Well, I
have
think-
waited until what was the registration? Star Wars Light Side, Dark Side.
Dark side.
It should go into effect for Star Wars Dark Side
Right.
and not for these upcoming races.
Right. I mean, I think this is Disney clearly saying we don't have an answer to this, so we're just going to get rid of it. Because on the one hand, you got too many people registering for these races with the idea that I'm not going to do it this year, I'll do it for the next year, and then
And I actually heard people saying intentionally like they were going to do that for
Right.
Dopey
For 2018, yes, because
They were going to do
Right.
it so they don't have the stress of trying to register for it.
right.
So
Which, by the way, are we aware of how many anniversaries are going on in 2018? It just dawned on me yesterday that not only is it the 25th of the marathon, it's the 10th of Dopey and the 10th of the 10K.
That's going to be
Fifth of Dopey.
amazing.
That's going to be
It's the
3
fifth of
different
Dopey,
anniversaries
right?
in 1 year. What's that?
It's only the 5th of Dopey.
Or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
It's like 3 anniversaries.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, I really feel like it's going to sell out, and I think people are waiting for that one. I mean, I know I am.
I've heard
Which,
so
if
much
you're thinking of
buzz.
registering for 2018 Dopey, refer to our other previous posts where these races aren't selling out. So just wait. Don't get to your computer early. Just wait. You'll get
So
it.
we do.
It'll be fine.
We'll
I know,
tell
wait,
you when
wait,
it's
wait.
good to go
But-
in.
But seriously, Disney doesn't have an answer to this, so they're going to say, "Screw it, we're not doing it anymore." Because they're in a position where they're getting complaints on both ends. So their compromise is, all right, no more deferrals, which
did-
sucks, like you said, Jackie, because things happen, life happens, and you have to register for these races 9-10 months in
And
advance.
it's a lot of money. Like, what if you register for Dopey and you get pregnant or something? Like,
Or
you can't run.
You get hurt.
You're not
Well, Lauren,
out. Like,
my wife Lauren, we registered for Star Wars. She goes and gets pregnant. But fortunately for her, it was still early on where she could actually do the race and finish and have a good
Right.
time.
Right.
But I mean, I know in my training for Wine and Dine last year, I rolled my ankle 2 weeks before the race, and I was panicking oh my God, what happens if I can't run? What do I do? It's a lot of
and
money you've
think
committed.
about the money for Dopey. That's like $600.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
And then your pins and all that stuff. Like, you kind of lose all that, I think.
Yeah,
if
because you
defer.
don't get your money back. You get no refund unless you're actually there. You can get a refund for commemorative items, but you'd have to be there. And if you're going to be able to be there, then I listened when I was running at the beach. I listened to, I think it was the Mickey Miles and More podcast. They talked quite extensively about this. It's in 2 different episodes. I'll put the links below if anybody wants to learn more about what's going on. Where one gentleman actually called through and talked to a race director or someone up there, and he kind of alluded to the fact that they're going to have a replacement policy. So he is someone. There's also another case where a gentleman got had to have brain surgery, and they did offer him a refund, but it was in Disney credit, and it wasn't for the full amount. So yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, and again, we always use these things as negatives and big bad, money grabbing Disney. At the end of the day, they will work with you.
Yeah.
They don't want these. Yeah, I mean, you got to be. But you've got to try. If something happens, you've still got to try. You've got to bump it up to whoever you can that will listen, and they will try to make it right. It may not be exactly what you want, but they'll try to get.
The first year, the inaugural Tower of Terror, my son got hurt when we were in Disney. The day was the race was Saturday night. Friday night, he got hurt at Epcot. We ended up in the hospital all night.
That's a crazy story, by the way.
I missed the race. We were in the hospital, and that was like my first Run Disney event, and it was just, and I had called the next day, and I explained the situation, and they worked with me, and they were like, well, we could either give you your medal. They offered me the medal, or they would let me defer the race, but I still had to pay like the $50. Mm-hmm. So I was like so torn because I wanted the medal, and I worked so hard for it, and I knew I would have got it, but anyways, I took the deferment. But at that time, I think you could defer to any race. So I deferred to the Prince. They let me, maybe they made an exception. Yeah. They let me defer to any race, which I ended up deferring to the Princess. Yay. 2013. So they did. I will say they did work with me. They didn't have to. They did.
I know there was a time when I wanted a different size of my race shirt because I didn't exchange at the expo, and I sent them a very polite letter. I worded it where it was all my fault. I didn't try my shirt on. I didn't realize it would be so, because they had a problem with cuts that year. And I offered to pay, and they were like, you know what, we'll just send you another shirt in the size you want. And I was like, really?
That was nice.
Yeah. Run Disney, I still, like I said before, I'm still getting so much out of it that I'm still going to go to the races. I only wish that they would have started the policy then for whatever we're currently signing up for. I don't like that whole, like, slipping underneath.
In the middle of.
Right. So.
I agree. It's like changing the term of the contract.
Right, exactly.
So I noticed on my run today, weather's turning. It's getting cooler. Fall's coming. This was a pretty brutal summer to train. It was ridiculously hot. It was downright depressing some days to try to go out there and go for a run. But amid all that, Jackey decided about a month ago to go 30 days of running at least 2 miles. So how'd that go?
It went really good. I'm kind of a lazy runner. I'll say, no, I don't want to say lazy runner, but I'm not regimented. I'm not someone who has a schedule or sticks to a training plan.
I'm not either.
So for me personally, it was just a challenge in itself, sticking to something. It could be anything. It was a challenge. And it was just one night, I'm like, I'm going to do this. And we were leaving for vacation the next day. We were driving 16 hours to Hilton Head. And I stopped what I was doing. It was 11 o'clock at night, and I went out. I ran 2 miles. And when we got to Hilton Head, I'm like, I got to run my 2 miles. And to me, like, getting through that first vacation, those first 7 days, and I think it was like 95 degrees, I was starting to see, day 4, day 5, day 6. And then you're like, I can't stop now. I got to keep going. And it got really tough around day 25. I was just tired. I just was like, I was kind of over it, I'll say. Yeah, I'm just like, but I had to complete it. And even that last night, I had to work till 3 a.m. and I didn't go out that day. I just didn't go out. I was tired. And so here I am at work, and I didn't run that day, but I at least put my run on, and I walked. I work at the airport. I walked up and down the terminal until I hit my 2 miles, just for peace of mind that I completed it. So I think it was good. It really was a sense of accomplishment. It's something different. A race is immediate. You have your immediate gratification. This took longer to do, and for me, it was a huge commitment. Maybe not for some people, but anyways, I feel good. It went well. And now I started another challenge. I proved I can do it. So now, this month, I'm trying to cut out pop or soda or whatever you all call it. And so now I'm on day 12 of that, that's probably harder for me to do than the running. But
Now,
I
how's
don't know,
that going
I
to
like
be being in Disneyland? Because we're all going to be at the Dumbo Double Dare soon. How's that? Do you feel like you're kind of
I
setting
know what
yourself up?
this one I almost didn't do because I was afraid of the vacation. You know, when you're in Disney, you tend to drink a lot of pop, and
Right.
so I told myself 14 days, but I am going to try to stick with it.
Right.
So how did you get the time commitment in? I mean, I have one child. I mean, granted, with another on the way, and you have way more than I do. And with your job being what it is, how did you find that time? How did you make that time?
You know what? I told everybody. That was one thing. I told everyone I'm doing this
Accountability.
challenge.
Hmm.
I was that annoying person on Facebook that's like, I'm on day 2, 3, 4, and it wasn't so much to like, it wasn't a bragging thing. It was to hold myself accountable.
Right.
And my kids are a little bigger. They're 12, 10, and 6. So my oldest, you know, I'd be like, hey, mom's gonna go 2 miles. For me wasn't too bad. It's 20 minutes. That's what I kept thinking. It's 20 minutes out of my day. It's 20 minutes. So I think I would just find time, like, okay, 20 minutes I can get out there and go. The only hard thing is being so hot. If I had to go to work or something, I had to allow time to shower and get my hair done and all that kind of stuff. So that made it tough. But even at night, like I'd come home from work, my feet hurt, I was tired, and I'm like, it's just 20 more minutes. So that's what I told myself. Anything more than that, I don't know if I could do.
Well, I think that's important because I think, I've gone through it this summer and even before then, that just getting out of the routine and thinking you don't have time and how do you stay on schedule? How do you stay on point? You got to just do it, right?
Yeah, I just like I said, 20 minutes. And I am noticing changes. I haven't necessarily like lost weight on the scale, which was a little disappointing, but definitely like I'm feeling toned and stuff like that. So that's another reward. Now I'm like, okay, I'm glad I did it. I think I might try to do it again when we
And
get back.
did you notice any difference in your pacing? Any like improvements there?
I feel like I'm definitely getting faster. The only thing that scared me is the fact that we are training for this Dumbo Double Dare. And so when you're running every day, to run like a long run and then have that give your body a chance to recover, that it was harder for me to throw in the long run. So I don't know if it's necessarily good when you're getting so close to a long race like that.
No, none of us being doctors.
I know, right?
I have to say that, right? We're not doctors. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. I mean, this stemmed from a challenge from one of our other friends in our group that was doing at least 4 miles a day, and he has a grander vision of doing 250 in a row. Is there any concern that in doing these types of challenges and these commitments that we're hurt? It's a negative. We're going to hurt ourselves, and we're not allowing our bodies to heal, and because you
that was
have to
one
have rest days.
Going into it for me, I was like, especially if I do a couple long runs, in my brain told myself I have permission to walk. Like, I have permission to walk, and I'm still like completing the challenge as long as I get out there and and if you look at my times like through the 30 days, you could tell that there was a few random days where I did have to walk, or I did intervals where I walked more, and then there's days where I ran nonstop. So I felt like I was trying to listen to my body, because the last thing, especially when you have a race come up, you don't want to get an injury.
No.
That's the last thing you want. It's
Not
not
when we
worth
have great cow socks to wear for the Country Bears 5K.
I'm a little jealous.
It's okay. That's about all that we have time for today. Jackie's yawning because she's been working some really crazy hours, so we're going to close up shop here. But I want to thank everyone for watching, and please subscribe if you would like to get more video updates, and so we can get to our 100. And while I get my thumbs up, please give us a thumbs up if you like this video or found any of it helpful. Also, if you have any questions, whether it's about Run Disney or running or anything in particular, please leave them in the comments below and we will gladly help you out. And you can also find us on our various social media sites that we are also linking below. So until then, happy running and have a joyful day.
Bye.
Bye.
I have been waiting for that.
For miles.
Oh my gosh.
Need it.
All right, guys, you ready?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm almost ready.
Shoot. Bob, can you let the dog out? I'll pay you $5. I'm gonna shut my doors.
I had to get my chapstick. My life.
Bye, baby girl. All right, Bob's got the dog. Shoo. All right. Little sip.
One more thing. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.